Global Village Network is a new television channel that explains how people, culture, and business relate around the world. Global Village has been testing a sample of its programming on cable television systems in the nation's capital. Every week since June 1991, Global Village programming has been shown on District Cablevision, Cable TV Montgomery, Multivision Cable, and Metrovision Cable.
In Washington, the U.S. government has called on Japan to reduce its current account
Every week, there's Japanese news.
Within 3 years.
And unprecedented in the history of Japan's imperial family.
We also feature bilingual French cultural programs.
I can't help it if my pictures don't sell. The day will come, however, when people realize that it's all worth more than the cost of the colors and my living, which all in all is pretty meager, that we put into it. The difficulty involved in producing pictures will have taken my entire life from me, and it'll seem like I haven't lived at all. You can be sure, though, that if we can withstand the siege, my day will come.
At £22.5 million. Last time, at £22.5 million, at £22,500,000 for the last time.
As well as the very popular bilingual Spanish comedy, Que Pasa?
Why this sudden interest in learning to type?
I'm trying to get a part-time job, and they need a bilingual typist.
Joe, that's perfect. All you have to do now is learn how to type and speak Spanish.
Señor, no problem. Pero sí tengo que aprender a typear.
And on weekends, we receive tremendous response to our foreign classic movies with English subtitles from the world's leading directors, including Bergman, Fellini, Kurosawa, and many more. The Italian classic, The Bicycle Thief. The Russian version of Don Quixote. Ingmar Bergman's classic masterpiece, The Seventh Seal. This Swedish movie won the Cannes Film Festival. Since the beginning, Global Village has attracted upscale advertisers.
I've got the financial statements for the South Carolina plant. I've got an early
ビジネスを変えていくビジネスクラスです。
like a game challenge.
ANA らしさ、クラブ ANA。
In January 1993, as part of our educational efforts, Global Village started supplying programming nationwide to college cable channels on the Community College Satellite Network, which has 7.5 million subscribers in the United States and Canada.
Who arrives from abroad to live in the Japanese capital of Tokyo.
Our next phase is to launch Global Village Network nationwide as a 24-hour channel in late 1994. Global Village is looking for a worldwide media company to form a strategic alliance.
We ought to look beyond just these supplier relationships, because the more important and perhaps more lasting relationships, I think, are going to be the ones where corporations genuinely partner with an entrepreneurial or a black entrepreneurial firm, where it's not just a supplier-contractor kind of relationship, but a real joint venture or equity investment or partnership. And those are even harder to build, but in the long run, they're more important yet, I think. Anyway.
With a partner, we can acquire international business programming.
Hello, I'm Heather Scott and welcome to European Business Live. Well, what we'll be bringing you now is a pilot program for a new and completely different magazine show about European business. Well, for the first time, what you won't be seeing is endless studio discussions, heavy on numbers, and even heavier on abstract business concepts. But what you will get instead is a lively, informative show about real life in the European business world. We'll get out of the studio and into the field to bring you first-hand and in-depth reports. We'll tell you business stories about real people, real companies, and real issues. Each edition of our program will have several segments of different lengths organized around central themes that will reappear in future shows. We start with what we call our cover story, a longer look at one of Europe's most important business issues of the day. Well, today we're here in Toulouse in France. We're at the headquarters of Airbus Industries. They're one of the world's leading aircraft manufacturers and also one of Europe's most controversial companies.
This is beer drinking country, but one of the most popular beers in the world isn't on sale here, even though its origins are right in the heart of Europe. Let's go now to the ancient town of Budweis in Czechoslovakia and visit a company with a familiar name, but an unfamiliar problem.
This is Česká Budějovice, near the Bohemian forest of southern Czechoslovakia, the root of a brewing tradition in Europe that dates back 900 years. 2 centuries ago, German settlers in the former town of Budweis refined the ancient recipe for beer. Thousands of miles away, the Americans adopted the name and made it their own.
Budweiser, the king of beers.
The global marketing man persuades us with Western dreams, like Budweiser beer, the great American draft for good old boys and fast young bucks. Tell that to the Czechs. The Czech Budweiser is an entirely different beer from a different birthplace. It's this Budvar aficionados still hunt out, with a distinctive gold label that shows they're drinking the original, superior Czechoslovakian beer. Through plagues and wars, first the Austrians, then the Nazis, and after the Soviets took over production. But despite the circumstances, this Bud thrived, building a reputation as one of the finest quality brewers, if one of the smallest. With the protection of communism gone, this unchanged craft has been exposed to its biggest dilemma since the 18th century. The other, American Bud, is bringing opportunity to the little Czech company, and with opportunity, anxiety. Anheuser-Busch, the producer of Bud in the States, is a multinational giant, turning out 2.5 billion gallons annually. What the Czechs produce in a year takes the US just 36 hours. The Americans are keen to expand into the single borderless market of Europe with its 300 million consumers. The Goliath of the beer business is all set for a world market takeover. But for one thing, the Czechs. When it came to the battle for the rights to that exclusive name, the US lost. A 1939 agreement over the trademark bars the Americans from most of continental Europe, while the Czechs can't sell in the States. Now the two companies want an end to their long-standing differences. In exchange for use of the name in Europe, the Americans offer an added ingredient to the brew, dollars, a $25 million package of technical and financial aid.
France 2 and Air France present the daily news from France.
Air France, ask the world of us.
La paix au Proche-Orient, un accord de reconnaissance mutuelle Israël-OLP serait imminent.
المصارف السعودية تحقق أرباحا جيدة بفضل تطوير الخدمات الاستثمارية.
We would also be able to acquire Globe TV.
Globe TV, a ticket to the world, an insider's guide to life on the planet.
This is Buzkashi, the national game of Afghanistan.
From the games people play to the sacred origins of Kung Fu, the timeless stories news programs rarely have time for. Globe TV is an adventure into the global village to see how the rest of the world lives, looks, sounds, and plays.
The influence of African-American hip-hop music has now reached Japanese teenagers who readily imitate this inner-city culture. We are located in Washington at PBS's International Broadcast Center with access to top production facilities to produce our original programming. Our network derives its name from Marshall McLuhan's theory that if the nations of the world are linked through communication media, they will begin to behave as a global village. The purpose of our channel is to provide greater understanding of international business, culture, and people through exposure to their media.